Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the world. As many of you know by now, my name is Zach Jones. Welcome back to my channel, but if you're new to my channel, then welcome. Now, I'm remastering one last PowerPoint, because a lot of you have requested me to do that. This is the 10 big cats of the world, and by that I mean I'm going to be talking about the big cats of Africa, Asia and South America. And of course I'm going to start with my favourite and also the true king of the beasts, the African lion. African lions were first depicted in cave drawings dating back more than 20,000 years. Of course, throughout history, the lion's muscular body, beautiful mane, and of course its deafening roar have inspired people for centuries, from Richard the Lionheart, who was the King of England, who led the Crusades in the 1190s, to the story of the Lion King, as well as the Hogwarts founder, Godric Gryffindor, having his house coat of arms as a lion. The lion represents courage, valour and savage grace. These enormous cats are the second largest of the cat family. In fact, a male, which is one of these, a male lion can weigh as much as 3 adult men. They have canine teeth that are about the length of my thumb, a bite force of just over 600 pounds per square inch. And of course, these majestic predators roam the South Sahara Desert, as well as the savannas of eastern and southern and central Africa. And of course, lions are also the only members of the cat family to live in large groups called prides. And these usually consist of several related males, 8 to 10 females and their young, but there's always one dominant male. And of course, another thing is that because outsiders are never admitted into prides, and lions that are separated from their prides will typically die of starvation or attacks from other prides, or even from their natural enemies like hyenas and buffalo. Prides are extremely united and with very little fighting, even among the males. As I mentioned, there's always one dominant male, and of course, people always have this idea, especially women, they have this idea that the males are lazy, that they do nothing, and it's the lionesses that do all the work, when that is incredibly untrue and also rather sexist of people. When the male lions, the reason why they do usually only 10 to 15% of the hunting for the pride is because their bulkier body and large mane are easy giveaways to potential prey. But also, if you're the leader of a pride, then it's your job to do things like keep order within the pride, protect your family from your foes, as well as pass your genes on to the next generation, but also fighting off other males, because if you ever see a dominant male lion up close, quite often you'll see the tips of his canine teeth have been chipped away and taken a beating from a rough life, and he's usually covered in scars and scabs, and that's usually from fights with rival males. And that's another thing that the lion's mane is used for. It can be used to make them look bigger and more intimidating. Of course, if that doesn't work, they will fight. And fights between male lions can go on for hours, and they can be brutal. Of course, the dominant male has the most to lose, not only the pride and his territory, but possibly his own life. Lions hunt a wide range of prey. While a lone lion can sometimes be a successful hunter of small game, like warthogs, a small antelope, the combined power of the pride means they can take down prey such as zebras, wildebeest, buffalo, and even giraffes, and they can even tackle fully grown elephants. Well, not fully grown elephants, usually juvenile elephants, or elephants that are just coming into adulthood. But of course, I actually can't think of a single animal in the world that has a greater range and prey size than lions. I mean, they'll quite happily take anything from an insect right up to an elephant. It's just the most phenomenal amount of power. And of course, the lionesses do usually 90% of the hunting, but the males will help out when they can, because while lions can reach 50 miles per hour in a heated pursuit, they're not built for long chases, so what they need to do is they have to work together to encircle their prey. And of course, lions are actually very knowledgeable about their territories, and they usually choose places where it's hard for their prey to get away, such as a rocky ledge or a wall or a river, and they usually target prey that is too slow, old, weak, young or sick. So like all predators, they always go for the weakest members of the herd, and quite often what they do is the lionesses will jump on their prey's back, tackle it to the ground, and then they will go for the throat and suffocate their prey. And as I mentioned before, a lion has canine teeth about the length of my thumb and a bite force of just over 600 pounds per square inch. Of course, probably the most dangerous prey that lions regularly take down is this, Cape buffalo. Now, Cape buffalo are some of Africa's biggest animals, but they are also very, very dangerous. Because they're big, they're bulky, they have thick hide and lethal horns. In fact, they could snap a wolf's spine in a flat-out charge. And if you honestly think I'm over-exaggerating, Cape buffalo have been known to actually hunt down lion cubs and kill them, but also there is a video of a female Cape buffalo actually catapulting a lioness into the air to get her off her calf. And it's not just buffalo that are the main enemies of lions. In fact, the greatest enemy of the African lion is the spotted hyena. Now, spotted hyenas are very well known for driving lions away from their kills, which is absolutely phenomenal, but also they will occasionally target young or even lone lions. But also, quite often, lions have been known to kill hyenas deliberately, because hyenas are a threat to not only their cubs, but also to other members of the pride. Now, you've all probably seen that there's a white lion here. Well, I can actually tell you the white lion is not its own separate species. It's actually a rare variant of the southern African lion. I mean, it's only been recorded in southern Africa, and for many years in fact for generations, there were many stories about the white lions, a lot of superstitions like that they are a messenger of God, that they bring peace and prosperity, and that they're the white king of the beasts. But the white lion is, as I said, it's a rare variant of the southern African lion, and that's all down to the fact that once or twice in a generation, one lion cub is born without the pigment that gives it the colour, so it's white. Probably the most famous example that I know of is from a book called Butterfly Lion by Michael Maperto, where a young boy named Bertie Andrews, who grows up on a ranch in South Africa, he adopts a white lion cub, but when his father forces him to go to boarding school in England, he sells the lion to a French ringmaster. But they do manage to find each other again, Bertie and the lion. But I mean, that's a book you can all look up. Another example of the white lion was in the recent Lion King movie. White lions were made the main antagonists of that film. But unfortunately, it was the white lions' superstitions and their beauty that almost led to their downfall, because until about the 1990s, white lions were almost completely wiped out in Africa because they were hunted for their fur because it's so beautiful, but also for their cubs to be sold to circuses, disreputable zoos, exotic pets, or to a rich man's private collection. That has since been stopped, but even so, the white lion is, well, there are white lions in captivity, but a lot of them are victims of inbreeding to keep the gene pool pure, but that just basically caused a lot of health issues. And of course, lions, as I said, once they've made a kill, because when they make a kill, the whole pride will gather to feed, and lions will all eat their fair share, because although there is usually a fair bit of fighting going on, but there's a very strict hierarchy of who gets to eat first. In fact, male lions eat first, followed by the lionesses, and young cubs will then finish the remains. In fact, that's all to make sure that the whole pride has enough energy to hunt again. And believe it or not, a single lion can eat 110 pounds, 50 kilograms of meat at a single sitting, so that's half my body weight in one go. And lions leave no food behind, and they literally lick the bones clean, because tiny backwards pointing hooks on their tongues will get every morsel of food off the bones. Now, unfortunately, lions in Africa are but a fragment of what they once were, and that's mainly down to humans, because lions are hunted by no species except for man, and over the last few decades, the African lion population has been reduced to probably fewer than 20,000 in the wilds of Africa, which has put them on the vulnerable species list. And of course, as well as poaching and loss of habitat, lions are also illegally killed by ranchers and farmers who say that lions are a threat to their livestock, and even though it is illegal to shoot, poison and trap lions, many ranchers still do it, but quite often when they're caught, they end up getting their land taken away from them, as well as 30 years in jail, which I say is a very well-deserved punishment. But even so, these animals continue to be some of the most majestic of all creatures. And another thing about lions is that people always have this idea that they're just lazy animals, especially when you see them yawning in the shade. But that's mainly down to the fact that there's two reasons for that. The first one is lions will laze around, as people say, to conserve their energy for when they really need to hunt. And another thing is that where they live out on the savannas, it tends to be very, very hot. So they try to do a lot of their hunting at night, because lions, like all members of the cat family, have a reflective layer of cells at the back of their eyes called the tapetum lucida that absorbs any available light, and it gives them eyesight that's 6 times more powerful than ours, especially at night time. That's one reason why they hunt at night, is to escape the relentless heat of the day. But also, lions have occasionally been known to kill people. In fact, lions kill probably more than 100 people in Africa each year. And a lot of the time, that's either if livestock is unavailable. Well, natural prey